Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another video. All right, let's see what we got for you right now. If you like those strange looking Volkswagens from back in the 70s and 60s, well, you are in the right track because I got you one of them. And this is quite a rare one to find as a resin or die cast altogether. And when I saw this one, I said, I get it now or I will never get it. Let's give it a proper presentation. What we got for you right now, it's a 143 scale resin model, by the way, which is made by Autocult, which is a very rare brand that makes only like rare models, and this is one of them. And this is a Volkswagen Type 412, 412. LE Limousine, which is sedan in other parts of the world. Now let's talk about the Volkswagen 412, which in other parts were called Type 4. These were mid-sized family cars manufactured and marketed obviously by Volkswagen of Germany as a D segment car from 1968 to 1974. They were sold as a two-door or four-door sedan as well as a two-door station wagon. And the Type 4, which is the one that represents more or less this shape, involved in two generations, which was the 411 and also the 412. This is the 412, so this one ran from 1972 to 1974. I gotta say, I like both of them. I seen the 411, which it was the headlights were a little bit like sticking out a little more, and the 412, as the one that you're looking at right now, it's the headlights are more indented inwards and facing like a bit like down, like facing the ground. But they're not facing the ground, but the hood is kind of like covering the headlights a little bit. But I like both styles. I know I always like weird looking cars, and these are definitely in the track of quirky, weird cars. And that's really cool. Engine wise, guys, they had a 1.7 and a 1.8. Both of them were four cylinder. And by the way, the 1.7 was between 1968 till 1973, and then the 1.8 was between 1973 and 1974. Transmission in these cars, they had a four-speed manual, but you also had an optional three-speed automatic. And I like that, especially in these cars that you may not expect to say, oh, they have automatics in these looking weird German cars. Yes, they do. Because these cars, believe it or not, they were sold in many markets from South Africa to North America to obviously Europe. And let's see, by the way, guys, so you know the styling and it was built by Pininfarina. So that's why I kind of like the style. You know, Pininfarina always makes this. They always have that tendency of going a little bit like out there. Like let's make sure that you don't just blend with other cars. And just so you know, this car retained the Volkswagen trademark air-cooled rear placement, rear wheel drive boxer engines. So they were rear engine, air cooled. So they kept it in all that. They kept the Volkswagen type. Back in the days, most of the Volkswagens were all rear engine and the Volkswagen Beetle. And you had the 411, which is the smaller brother from this one. So they had a few cars that were rear engine. All right, guys. I'm gonna go around a few times, and I'll be right back. All right, guys. So now that we were talking about the rear engine Volkswagen, this was one of the last cars, except for the Volkswagen Brasilia, the rear engine air cooled. This was one of the last cars, but the Volkswagen Brasilia was the official last car, air cooled rear engine Volkswagen. But actually, now that I'm thinking, they made Volkswagen Beetles until 1990, if I'm not mistaken, in Mexico. I wonder if I'm not fully familiar if they were still air cooled, but I'm not fully sure. But in Wikipedia, they say the Volkswagen Brasilia was the last air cooled rear engine. But going back to this model right here, what a gorgeous looking car. I love the color. I love the history behind it. I love Volkswagen altogether for being such a weird. Back in the days, they were so weird looking cars. Now they lost a bit of their touch on there. But unfortunately, these cars you rarely see them around. They're not. They were not very reliable. They didn't last that long, and you know, unfortunately, back in the days, they were not considered classics either. So hopefully, you comment below. Let me know what they saw in your country. Do you still see them around? Maybe you see them in a museum or in a car show. I would love to know more information about these cars. What you think about what you know about it. Don't forget to give me that beautiful thumbs up. I really, really appreciate. Thank you so much. And also, don't forget to click and subscribe and click the bell next to the subscribe button. That will remind you when I'm posting more videos. So it kind of does the whole homework for you. All right, everyone. Take care of yourselves more than ever, as I always say. And goodbye.